Good morning, pirates. Some major changes in today's game. There's a new outfit, by the way, but we had some major weapon changes, some major furniture changes, and some major ship changes. So I wanted to go over them with you so that you weren't blindsided when you come into the game. First, weapon changes. The carronade. Increase base damage of carronade weapon by 10%. So that's this weapon right here. Carronade. It's kind of goldish. It's a cannon. I wish we could separate by cannons, but apparently not. It looks like a white jade, but it's not. There it is. So these are the carronades. So they buffed damage, increased base damage of carronade by 10%. I can't tell because these aren't leveled up, but this is a flooding damage weapon, and you could use this very well on the brigantine. Okay, demi cannons increase base damage of all demi cannon cannon weapons by 15%. Okay, I have a demi cannon ship. Hold on. Just gotta find it. Can't remember if this is the one. Should say demi cannon. There it is. So they boosted the demi cannon damage. Of course, this one isn't even demi cannon anymore. Anyway, increase the demi cannon damage of all demi cannons. So every single demi cannon by 15%. So let's just look at one of them. So here's a demi cannon. 2018 now. Fire long gun 1 through 3, long gun 1 through 4, reduce base damage by 5%. So your long guns aren't going to hit as hard. The pick 1 through 3, reduce base damage by 15%. Sherlock's long nines, Sherlock's chasers, no change to base damage. So those are still hitting the same way as you remember. All other long guns reduce base damage by 10%. Seedfire, increase base damage of all seedfire weapons by 20%. Oh, that's nice. So a seedfire weapon would be your Blue Spectre, your Angie's Fury, anything like that. That's a flamethrower, basically. Dardanel's gun, reduce base damage by 15%. Oh, that's going to make a lot of people mad. So Dardanelles are no longer going to be as strong. Ship changes. The barge. Increase wildfire perk weapon damage increase from 20% to 35%. Increases wildfire perk ablaze charge rate from 150% to 175%. The brig. Increases artificer perks buoy effectiveness cap from 30% to 45%. Increases per shot from 2% to 3%. Increases evolved perk weapon damage repair amount from auxiliary weapons from 10% to 15%. Garuda. Reduce Deadeye perk weapon damage boost based on range to target from max 80% to 60%. Hulk. Increased ironical perks armor increase after bracing a hit from 250 to 350. Increase ironical perks brace strength from 250% to 275%. Increases Iron Wheel perks armor increase for self and allies from 150 to 300. Schooner. Reduce Fury perk chance to trigger Fury on self from 30% to 20%, and reduce broadside weapon damage boost from Fury from 25% to 20%. Armor changes. Celestial Dance, Lightning Stream increase maximum electric damage dealt per target from 1600 to 1850. Increase armor rating from 1150 to 1210. Crimson Lotus, increase piercing and explosive resistance from 25% to 27%. Hayden's Guard, Ember Ward, increase reduction in damage by burning weapons from 25% to 30%, and additionally increase reduction from 25% to 30% while bracing. Increases armor rating from 1150 to 1210. Leviathan. Hydrodynamic, increase armor rating granted by each knot of sailing speed from 1.3% to 1.4%. And penetratable, increase weapon damage reduction from 25% to 35%. Phoenix Crest. Increase charge up rate of taunted on attacking enemies by 25%. Increased explosive resistance from 10% to 15%. The Rhapsody of the Deep. Increased reduction in damage from torpedoes from 25% to 30%, and additionally increased reduction from 25% to 30% while bracing. Increased armor rating from 1100 to 1160. Stormwoven Symphony. Increased max range of charge up sonic attack from 125 meters to 150 meters. Increased max damage of charge up sonic attack from 6,000 to 7,200. Increased armor rating from 1120 to 1180. Wrathful Ward. Venomous Vengeance increases poison damage dealt by Noxious Cloud from 4,500 to 5,000. Increases armor rating from 1120 to 1180. Wailing Ward increases armor rating from 1120 to 1180. And corrected armor description was showing description of Wrathful Ward. Oh, didn't even know that. Mod change. Sail Ripper, reduced weapon damage applied when torn sail is activated from 400 to 600 to 225 to 350. So that's a good little debuff there. Balance changes for AI. The Plague Prince Poison Mortar's overall accuracy has been lowered so that it misses more often. The Plague Prince Poison Mortar's overall AoE was reduced by 25%. I know we're all cheering for that. Bug fixes. I'm not going to go over those. There's furniture changes though. Bloody Red, which is I could show it to you. It's this one right here. Reduces threat generation of nearby friendly ships by 50%. Let's see here. Increase the threat generation reduction of nearby friendly ships from 50 to 60. That still says 50. Increase the top bonus threat from 25 to 40. Increase the threat generation from 10% to 25%. Bowers Powderhouse. Increase the AoE radius of mortars from 7% to 10%. Increase the reload time reduction of mortar from 5% to 7%. Three-clock Furnace. That's the one that looks like this one. Reduce secondary damage increase based on distance to target from up to 30%. Reduce 3% per 50 meters to target up to 20%. Reduced by 2% per 50 meters to target. Reduce charge rate increase of shell shocked on enemy ships from 7 to 5. Reduce damage increase for shell shocked status effect on target from 5 to 3. So that's a reduction. That's not a fun one. Brace gunwales. Reduced income and secondary damage reduction while anchored from 50% to 20%. That's a big change. Companion screens. Increase the incoming area of effect damage reduction from enemy ships from 15% to 20%. Increases the incoming burning charge reduction from 7% to 10%. Increases the max hull health from 3% to 5%. The copper fashioning station. Reduce secondary damage of electric weapon from 15% to 12%. The density furnace. Increase the flooded charge rate from 8% to 12%. Increase the flooded duration from 8% to 12%. That's the one that looks like almost like a chimney. Where is it? Right here. Oh, that's not it. That's a light kettle. Density furnace. I don't even know where that's at. Anyway, Devil's Concoction. Reduce secondary damage of burning weapons from 15 to 12. Dynamic balance control. Reduces secondary damage reduction based on distance to attacker from 40 and beyond to 30. at 600 meters. Adrenaline's toll increased the amount of health restored per second from 0.25 to 0.28. Increased max whole health increase from 5% to 8%. Increased crew stamina recovery speed while out of combat from 3% to 6%. Expanding corkscrew station reduced secondary damage of flooding weapons from 15% to 12%. Fusing station reduced reload time, reduction of front and rear weapons from 12% to 9%. Reduced secondary damage increase from front weapons and rear from 15 to 9. Hubak tuning rack, this is the big one for me. Increase the maximum range of torpedoes from 12 to 14. Increase the arming distance reduction of torpedo from 20 to 25. Increase the projectile speed of torpedo from 8 to 10. I love my torpedoes, so that one is actually helpful. High velocity kegs reduce secondary damage of piercing weapons from 15% to 12%. Joinery workshop reduce repair amount increase from repair weapons from 10% to 6%. Mark of the Wolf reduce shell shock charge rate increase from triggering a blaze on target from 100% for 10 seconds to 50% for 7 seconds. Maintained arsenal increase the auxiliary weapon damage from 10% to 13%. Munitions mixer reduce damage reduction for flooded and ablaze status effects applied to enemy ships from 30% to 20%. Ramrod workshop reduce reload time reduction of broadside weapons from 15% to 7%. Oh, dang it. Reduce secondary damage increase dealt by broadside weapons by 10% to 7%. Shell packing station reduce area of effect increase of bombard weapons from 7% to 5%. Reduce reload time reduction of bombard weapons from 7% to 5%. Spike station increase the chance to reduce repair effects on target upon weak point hit from 25% to 40%. Signal gong increase the damage boost after crew attack from 15% to 20%. Oh, a crew attack build will be nice. I should make one. Tuning station increase the secondary damage of torpedo from 17% to 20%. Increase the projectile speed of torpedo from 10% to 13%. Increases the crew stamina restored per second while out of combat from 5% to 10%. Yeah, torpedoes are going to be strong now. I'm glad I have a bunch of ships that have torpedoes. Tooling's guidance reduce reload time reduction from front weapons from 7% to 5%. Worm's breath turner reduce reload time increase target upon application of shell shock from 25% for 20 seconds to 20% for 10 seconds. Reduced explosive secondary damage increase of weapon from 25 to 20. Yeah, a lot. So many changes. Dardanelles is probably one of the biggest that people are going to be upset about. Okay, so that's everything that's changed. Let me just show you the torpedoes now. We got the Dakas on here. Nocturne Heart. Ramrod Workshop. Oh, you know what? Since they deducted that so much, let's do the other torpedo thing. Where's it at? Oh no, I already had it on there. So Ramrod Workshop, bilge fire barrels for the extra 10% on the sides. Kubak tuning rack, tuning station, torpedo works one. Expanding corkscrew. This is my flooding torpedo build for the brigantine. Here we go. So with the Dakas, I just hit them, and it takes 200 of their armor away. This is with the brigantine. Papa buoy. It's got the empower. I do like my torpedoes. If you watched any of my videos, you know this is the fastest way to farm ascension modules. Because these are the Dakas, they'll go through this ship and hit any ship behind them in case there was extras. See how it keeps going? Behind him. I like it. I've always liked torpedoes though. I've always thought they were strong. Do a couple more fights for you. Big changes, so many changes. If you don't have a torpedo boat, make one. They're going to be a lot stronger than they have been. I tested out the long guns earlier and they are not as strong, obviously, with the debuff, but you really feel it. Now these torpedoes aren't the strongest in the game. They're not the legacies, but they do go through whatever they hit, except for like rocks. They don't go through rocks, but they go through ships. So really helpful in like plunder situations. My plunder ship has a set of these on the back just for that reason. Huh. Not bad. Cool thing about the brigantine is how fast it is. You know, you can sail around the whole map super quick. Except for against the wind. For some reason it still only gives you like 12 knots. Oh good, they're paired up. Perfect. Nice. Okay, I just want to do one more thing, show you one more thing, and I'll let you go. This would be one of my longer videos, but I felt like there was a lot of information that you guys needed. So that's the Dakas. What happens when you use the legacies? Just need my other torpedo ship. The only thing is I only have 3 Dakos, so I have to switch it off. I don't have time for that. Let's give me a Torpedo. And this Requiem it is. As long as both these were legacy, yeah. 516. Alright. The difference is pretty severe. In the legacy and the DACA, but the difference is the DACA goes through a ship and will hit the next ship and behind it. The legacy does not, but the legacy has cataclysmic, so with every successful hit, the next one's going to do more damage. As long as it's in the same volley. So we should be getting like 10, 12 maybe. Oh, that was a lot more than that, but yep, torpedoes are coming back. A lot of people are going to be using these now. Just trying to see the damage it was doing. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Torpedoes are going to be the move. If you don't have a torpedo ship, go out and make one. Hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a like. Got any comments, leave it below. Want to see future Skull and Bones videos? Make sure you're subscribed for the next one. Alright guys, peace.